Hello, how are you? Today I'm going to talk to you about the cabbage soup diet, a very popular and famous diet in many countries, and I'm going to show you how to do this diet in a healthy way. People usually use this diet a lot when they want to lose weight quickly, when they want fast results. So, I'm going to tell you what works in this diet, what is actually good and you can keep in your daily routine, and the precautions you need to take so you don't harm yourself. I'll explain this better. Stay until the end because you won't want to miss it. If you love tips on nutrition, health, and fitness, you're going to love this channel, so go ahead and subscribe. Remember to turn on the notification bell to get updates. I have new videos every day and you're going to love them. If you enjoy these videos about trendy diets, weight loss diets that people try, and if you have any suggestions for me or any different diet you'd like to know if it works or how to do it, leave it for me here in the comments and I'll come and make a video about it. And tell me if you've ever tried the cabbage soup diet or any of those other more radical short-term diets and what results you had. And if you like these videos, give it a like so I know you enjoyed it and I'll come back and make more videos like this for you. This cabbage soup diet has been around for many years and has circulated widely over time. In many countries, it has even been linked to famous hospitals and clinics. However, it's important to tell you that this diet doesn't actually have any official health or weight loss institution backing it. Usually, the cabbage soup diet is based on a simple soup in which the main ingredient is cabbage, often consumed repeatedly over a short period. It's not just cabbage in the soup. I'll give you a general idea of the recipe here, but the recipes vary a lot from source to source, and it can vary in your home too, because in fact, cabbage itself, being the base of the soup, already brings a very interesting benefit, which is volume. Cabbage provides a lot of dietary fiber, contributes a significant volume to the soup, so it occupies quite a bit of space in your stomach, thereby leading to you feeling full much earlier. But since it has little carbohydrate and few calories, even if you eat a really large amount of this soup, you can actually lose weight, because in reality, this soup is very low in calories and very low in carbs too. So in fact, it's a type of food you can have even if you're following a low-carb diet. Usually this cabbage soup has a base of seasonings, which you can saute in a bit of olive oil with garlic, onion, leek, celery, whatever you like. Usually some type of fresh vegetable is added. For instance, some people put in carrots, some add chayote, cauliflower, tomatoes, bell peppers, and other similar vegetables are often included. You can use whatever vegetables and greens you like as long as they generally have a low amount of carbohydrates. For example, you won't add potatoes, cassava, pasta, none of that. This is a soup really based on low glycemic index vegetables and low in carbohydrates. Often you can add chicken to this soup or not, or even eggs. Some people make the soup and at the end crack eggs into it to eat together with the soup. Some people make it completely vegetarian, and I'll tell you in a moment what the issue with that is. And of course, cabbage. The ingredient used in the largest proportion is cabbage. You can add salt, black pepper, pour in water to boil, and the soup is ready. In fact, I even have a recipe here for making this cabbage soup, and there was a case of a girl who lost 65 pounds by following this cabbage soup diet. So I've already made this recipe here on the channel, which she followed. In fact, it's her recipe, and she got these great results. I'll leave it down below in the description. There are some versions of this cabbage soup diet that use the recipe without chicken or without eggs, like I mentioned before. These recipes are more complicated from a nutritional standpoint because they're really very low in calories and don't have protein to provide that feeling of fullness, to help build muscle, or to support immunity. So honestly, it's not balanced, and this soup isn't a good idea for you to have as a complete meal. In this case, if you want to have the soup as a starter and then eat some chicken, fish, beef, eggs, or an omelet, that's fine to complement it. But just having this soup without any kind of protein really ends up being very low in calories and nutrients for you. Now, if you're vegan and you want to make this soup and don't want to complement it, for example, with eggs or meat, obviously because you're vegan, remember that you can really load up on lentils, chickpeas, soy, or beans in this soup to make sure you get the protein you need to stay healthy. Usually these cabbage soup diets also vary in terms of what you can eat because the foundation of the diet is the cabbage soup. So it assumes that you'll eat this soup for lunch and dinner as much as you want. If you want to have 1 bowl, you can, 2 bowls, 3 bowls, though I doubt you'll be able to eat more than that. Because it really is very filling, but you can eat as much as you want, and the base of the meal is this. And the problem is that what you eat in the small meals varies depending on the source. There are places that say you should eat only the soup, even for breakfast and afternoon snacks, which I find dreadful. No one will manage that. You might do it for 1 day, but by dinner you won't be able to eat it anymore. It just won't work in the long run. There are people who come up with some pretty crazy combinations. Some say that on the first day you can only have milk. On the second day you can have a glass of milk and eat a banana. On the third day you can add a chicken breast. So it's those kinds of interesting anecdotal things where you just start gradually adding various random foods into your daily intake until you eventually reach a balanced diet. My suggestion is if you want to follow this cabbage soup diet, as long as it's a balanced soup with protein, a soup that can actually replace a main meal with enough calories even to substitute a main meal. You can do this as long as you also have small meals throughout the day. So, have a balanced breakfast. It could be yogurt with chia seeds and fruit or a smoothie with avocado and oat bran. Make sure your breakfast is balanced and have a nice afternoon snack too. Remember, I have lots of low-carb recipes here, including snacks, breakfast options, cakes, so many things. There's even pizza here on the channel. So, I'll leave these low-carb recipes for you down below in the description. They can help you out. And remember to include them in your diet. You'll already be eating vegetables and greens, but also have a fruit or two, so your diet is balanced, sustainable, and healthy. Otherwise, your calorie intake will be way too low. At first, you'll lose a lot of water and you'll lose fat too, but you can only lose fat up to a certain point. Your body can't metabolize much more than that per week, so you'll start losing a lot of muscle mass and a lot of fluids. When you step on the scale, it looks like you made a big difference, but as soon as you start eating a bit better the following week, you regain that water weight and that's it. You might even gain more weight because your metabolism has slowed down so much from eating so few calories. So, very low-calorie diets don't work for you in the medium term. You might lose a lot of weight at first, but then you'll gain it back and maybe even more than you lost. So, remember that the ideal is really to have a balanced diet. There's even a video here about healthy eating habits, so you can better understand how this works. I'll leave it for you in the description. Always remember that the best approach is to maintain a varied and balanced diet so you can naturally obtain a wide range of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and fibers throughout your meals. So, ideally, you should make at least 2 of these soup recipes per week and alternate between them, 2 or 3. And remember that alternating can mean changing things up. One time you add chayote, another time carrots, one time you use broccoli, another time eggplant, sometimes you add chicken, sometimes eggs. The base can be cabbage if you want to keep using it, but remember to vary it, even for your taste buds. Otherwise, you won't be able to stand eating the same thing for too long every day. So, this is very important, not just from a nutritional standpoint, but also psychologically for the sustainability of this soup diet. By the way, remember that I have a playlist of healthy soup recipes here on the channel. There are lots of delicious recipes for different kinds of soups. Creamy soups, chunky soups, vegetarian soups, vegan soups, soups with meat, soups with chicken. I'll leave the link in the description for you. Always remember that it's very common for people to follow this soup diet from Monday to Thursday or Friday, and then over the weekend, go right back to eating everything they used to. Savory snacks, barbecue, beer, and other treats. By the time Monday comes around, many of them have already regained the weight they lost. So, it's very important that you also remember to try to carry this over into your weekend. At least for one meal, lunch or dinner, on Saturday or Sunday, continue having your soup. For the other meal, you might even allow yourself to eat something different and tasty on the weekend. There's even a video about cheat days here. I'll leave it for you. But there's no point in doing everything right from Monday to Friday. And then from Friday night until Sunday night, you lose control. You'll end up breaking even, really. Remember that I have a playlist here on the channel talking about different types of low-carb diets, intermittent fasting, the egg diet, healthy eating habits. I'll leave it down below in the description for you. If you're curious about any particular diet, let me know here, and I'll come back and make a video talking about it. Tell me if you've ever tried the cabbage soup diet, if you lost weight, if you gained it back afterwards, or if you stayed slim. I would love to see your comment. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it, because that really helps me out, and share it with anyone who might like it or needs it. Let's work together to spread this positive movement, because that's what I want here on the channel. See you next time. Bye.